YouTube.com lawyer has informed us that we need a warning. So, if you are under the age of 18 or you find foul language offensive, please don't watch this video. Thank you.
The 70s. What a decade, am I right?
Our music was the stuff of legend that decade. I mean, I guess that's also true of any decade, but for the 70s in particular, it really felt like it was larger than life. Maybe for the first time ever. But being honest, if I could describe the music of the 70s in one hyphenated word,
It would be fucked up.
Close your eyes, I'm right beside you.
because along with all those legends of rock, we had a lot of legends of lame. And this was the kind of lame that really only could have been made in the 70s. And this week, we're gonna go deep into the garage and open up the cardboard boxes we swore we would never open again. So let's break out the pet rocks and lawn darts and other ill-conceived ideas. It's the 10 worst charting hits from Cinco de Mayo 1973.
No more Mr. Nice Guy. You are the sunshine of my life.
The early 70s saw an evolution in soul music like very little we've ever seen, paving the way for funk and disco.
One of a kind.
And there was a pretty big imbalance in the spectrum. On one end, you got acts who stood the test of time like Stevie Wonder, The Spinners, Gladys Knight and the Pips.
But one thing that it sure could do right, it could swear.
On the other end, you got this.
Calling all cars, calling all cars. Be on the lookout for dangerous Dan.
Whoops, my bad. I seem to have accidentally downloaded an episode of Chips.
Right then, let's see what kind of shenanigans John and Francis are gonna get into this week.
Said he's dangerous. Oh, not extremely dangerous.
Oh wait, no, that's the actual song itself. And it's about getting involved with a bad boy. Ooh.
Well, let's see how dangerous he is.
Don't let him go, he's sweet talk for you.
Okay, so he's dangerous because he can steal your heart. He literally commits larceny with his sweet talk.
Then goes on his way, leaving me here with another mouth to feed.
And he also breaks hearts. Okay, so he's a heartbreaker? I mean, so what? It's not like it's a felony or anything.
Might look like the average guy, but he's wanted by the FBI.
Oh, so he really is a fugitive. Wait, so what crimes did he commit? Murder? Armed robbery? Tearing the tag off a pillow?
These are all things you can assume because they don't really say.
No, you're supposed to assume he's on the FBI's most wanted list for loving and leaving. This is just dumb.
So yeah, it pretty much is an episode of Chips.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Early in the evening, just about supper time.
Oh hey, it's Creedence Clearwater Revival, better known as John Fogerty and some other guys. They were one of the most iconic bands of the 60s.
And they fell to fucking shit the second the decade ended.
We hit the hiker, look for my music like a crazy can.
This is Sweet Hitchhiker, the lead single from their 1972 album Mardi Gras. It's fucking terrible. But more importantly, they all started fighting with each other on a regular basis, so someone got this bright idea to let the other members sing one of the songs. Todd and the Shadows made a Train Records about it. That's how bad it turned out.
Well, after that mess, they declared fuck it and broke up. John would go on to form a new band, the Blue Ridge Rangers. Let's see how well that turned out.
Hearts made of stone will never break.
Okay, this is a cover of an old 50s tune. First recorded by an obscure California act named Jules and made famous by an obscure Cincinnati act named The Charms, then made even more famous by the Fontaine Sisters. Most of the album is made of covers, including the lead single, a cover of Hank Williams' Jambalaya.
Well, jambalaya and a broken pie, filet gumbo.
Nothing special. Well, let's listen to the best known version.
Hearts of stone will cause you pain.
Not bad for a Mr. Sandman type song.
Please, please, please pray.
Well, anyway, this is just the same thing, but sped up, and with the twang added. So who even were these Blue Ridge Rangers anyway?
Well, guess what? They don't exist. It's just one guy, John Fogerty.
Yeah, when this album was first released, he didn't put his name on it because he wanted to distance himself from his Creedence past. But when the album didn't sell and Fogerty really needed to buy that new boat, he declared fuck it and slapped his name on a Rush re-release that also didn't sell. He made one more failed solo album in '75, then wisely decided to sit out the next 10 years.
I'm sure this is an era of his career he'd like to forget, so let's do just that.
It's summertime, and isn't it great?
Oh hey, remember 3-Beat Slide? He had that terrible song about how summertime is great, and it's all just this unbearably creepy level of happy. Like, you watch this video, and you listen to the two kids singing, then you listen to the grown-ass adults singing, and suddenly you want to get Child Protective Services on the phone because there is just something that just seems wrong about all of this.
Well, I bring him up because I found something on the charts that week that just brings up this same kind of, childish feeling, I guess we'll call it. It's called Playground in My Mind.
You hear that stupid chanting that starts this off?
Brace yourselves, dear viewers, because this is the level of lame we're gonna be dealing with from here on out.
I close my eyes and soon I find I'm in a playground in my mind.
Okay, so the concept is, when the outside world gets to be too much, he just closes his eyes and daydreams about being at the playground. Now, considering we're currently going through the great big COVID-19 fuck-up of 20, this sounds like the kind of song you'd probably want.
It might be, but I don't know. If you're gonna pick a good quarantine song, there are better options than listening to a grown man fantasize about playing with children.
My name is Michael, I got a nickel.
Oh, my bad, he's daydreaming about being a child playing with other children. Oh, but this still sounds creepy because he's singing with the child.
My girl is singing, when we get married, we're gonna have a baby or two.
Okay, you do realize you're supposed to be children, right?
Where the children laugh.
Maybe it was different growing up in the 70s, but I don't know. I think in general, if you're young enough to be on a playground, you're probably a little too young to think about marriage. You can play house, but who wants to do that?
Sure don't want to just sing about, I don't know, playing on the slide or the merry-go-round or shit like that. Come on!
See the little children living in a world that I left behind.
Oh, okay, so this is how you actually want to go back to your childhood.
Yeah, well, you're an adult now. Grow up, man-child.
La 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 la.
Mr. Nice Guy. Back when my hair was short, I was a White Sox sport. Only beer parties still free.
And here we are now going further into AM Gold territory. If you look on your slight left, you'll see a dorky looking guy with a dumb sweatshirt and stupid glasses singing about the time he had short hair.
The good old days, am I right?
Drank till my eyes were red with Playboy 'neath my bed.
Well, anyway, this is about... Okay, I get that VHS technology wasn't exactly at its peak in the 70s, but this glitching is starting to give me a goddamn headache.
Well, thankfully there's this video full of stock footage I can use instead, I guess.
I met some friends in court for stealing hubcaps from cars.
Well, anyway, it's a song about his age and the passage of time, telling about the days when his hair was short and all the crazy things he used to do in his carefree youth.
So basically, once he was 7 years old, his hair was short. He read a bunch of Playboys and stole hubcaps.
An honest to God hippie freak.
Okay, now we get to the part where he grew his hair out and became a hippie.
As was, of course, the style at the time.
How many months were they good for? The meaning is gone. Soon when my hair is short, I'll make a full report of how I came back alive. Bringing the truth out of jive.
Wow, okay, you can go fuck yourself too.
Jesus fuck, this thing got real preachy real fast. Yeah, we get it. The 60s are over and we lost. Don't fucking tell me the anti-war movement meant nothing. You're probably just bitter and sore because you didn't get laid enough.
Cause it's the hope that we'll find it.
God damn, what a load of horse shit. I'd almost prefer 7 years over this.
This makes me want to declare fuck it and grow out my hair. And seeing as how I can't get a haircut,
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
we've seen some lame shit, but do you want to see something really lame?
Who was it that caught you falling and put you back on your feet?
I should just spend this whole section just letting this play and laughing.
What the hell is any of this?
Oh, good fuck almighty. That long hair and that red pantsuit. With the shirt unbuttoned so everyone can see his chest hair, of course. Look at this fucking sax player with the handkerchief choker and the Green Ranger shirt.
If someone asks you what the 70s even were, show them this.
It was me and I'll tell you why.
Alright, so who is this Hurricane Smith guy? Well, his real name is Norman Smith, and he's a record producer and engineer. He spent the 60s working with acts like the Beatles and Pink Floyd before he decided, hey, maybe I should try this being a rock star thing too. He actually had a hit over here, Oh Babe, What Would You Say?
Oh, babe, what would you say?
Well, it's lame, but not as lame as this.
Why did it because of mine?
God, that fucking voice of his. It's like he's trying to do a twang, but he's just not getting it right. And it's about how he loves you, girl, and he's devoted to you, and he'll be there for you, and put your back on your feet and such.
Oh, it sounds kind of sweet, but there's one line that...
And who was it that tripped you anyway? In order that the two of us would meet.
Ha 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 ha, wow, okay, great, you can go fuck yourself too.
You're on a best devotion to loving you.
Yeah, I don't care how devoted you are to this nameless girl. You started this relationship by pulling a prank on her. Yeah, I was gonna push you over, but instead I almost pushed you over, so I saved your life. Let's fuck! Yeah, that other song of his was a top 10 hit. Not surprisingly, this thing barely even scraped the top 50. He made a few more singles, but he grew out of that phase by 1975.
You should have just stuck to producing records. That's who you was.
Chicken lickin'.
I'd like.
We're closed, lady.
My cousin's dropped in.
Lady, I'm mopping up.
What are you mopping with?
What am I mopping with?
What kind of cleanup?
A liquid.
Mix some spick and span.
Spick and span.
Want to get home? It'll put power in the water. Go over where you just cleaned.
But it's clean.
Look, spick and span wouldn't leave all that greasy dirt.
Hey, thanks, lady. If there's anything I could ever do for you.
I have these cousins who dropped in.
Spick and span gets the dirt liquid cleaners leave behind.
I regret to announce a Philco sale. Everyone knows in a sale you sell your slow movers, but some genius put our best sellers on sale. This big screen color console, automatic fine tuning, high bright color tube, Philco reliability. You'd pay a lot, right? Well, save your money. It's now on sale for under $480. I think I'm going to be sick.
Bill Bailey may be the luckiest night watchman in the world. For a few hours, he's got Woolworth all to himself. For wandering, browsing, fun shopping. There's always something new. What now? The Magnus chord organ. The only musical instrument that anyone can play in minutes. Even Bill, who can't read a note of music, will be playing hundreds of his favorites. Just follow the keyboard numbers and push the chord buttons here. He's onto it now. You know the whole Bailey family can have fun with this. Hey, what an idea for Bill Jr.'s birthday. At prices as low as $29.95, anyone can be talented. A Magnus organ is really music to your ears, especially on Woolworth's layaway plan.
Kidnapped. Follow instructions exactly, or she'll die. David Jensen. How do I know Karen's still alive? James Ferrantino. She's buried in a coffin equipped with life-supporting devices for 7 days. 2 of those 7 days are already gone. And when that battery goes, she goes. Oh, my God.
I don't want to die like this.
The Longest Night. A true story.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Osmonds!
I'm a little bit country.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit rock and roll.
Oh, bullshit. Bull fucking shit. You are not rock and roll. Get the fuck out of here.
Does this sound like rock and roll to you?
You ask how much I need you.
This isn't rock and roll. This isn't even 50s rock and roll. It's actually a 50s crooner song originally recorded by Johnny Mathis.
Chances are, 'cause I wear a silly grin.
Now, I don't have anything against Johnny Mathis. Chances Are is pretty good, but Chances Are is pretty good. I like that one. But what we got here is a cover of the B-side, The 12th of Never, a song he himself disliked.
You ask how long I'll love you.
And why wouldn't he? It's a bunch of stupid, mushy crap.
Until the 12th of never, I'll still be loving you.
You see, Donny Osmond is gonna love you, girl, until the 12th of never. It's clever, right? Because the 12th of never doesn't exist. So that means he's never gonna stop loving you, girl. Yeah, the sappy lyrics are bad enough, but then you slap dorky Donnie's dumb face onto it and it becomes a giant pixie stick of mush. Look, you can say what you will about 14-year-old Justin Bieber, but at least those terrible songs he did were original. Some he even wrote himself. But here we got 14-year-old Donny Osmond doing a song he didn't even write. Isn't this one of the reasons why tough guys hate teeny bopper idols? They don't write their own songs? Hell, a lot of his songs are covers.
That actually makes him worse!
Until the 12th of never.
Yeah, the 12th of never.
Yeah, let's just say that's at least, 15 minutes away. Heyo!
That's a long, long time. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
teddy bear song. This thing is called Teddy Bear Song. Gee, I wonder what the hell this could be about.
I wish I was a teddy bear.
Okay, so this is about how she wishes she was a teddy bear, just sitting on a store shelf. Just sitting there.
I'm guessing to eventually be purchased and brought to a loving home?
And I'm wishing that I had fallen in love with you.
No, she wants to be a teddy bear because that means she wouldn't have fallen in love with some jerk?
Then your memory wouldn't come around hurting all the time.
Okay, I know heartbreak does some strange things to people, but to make you wish you'd be an inanimate teddy bear sitting on a store shelf? Again, no mention of whether or not she'll be purchased, so we must assume she just must want to sit there on a shelf, unpurchased and unwanted for all eternity.
Jesus fuck, Barbara Fairchild, what the hell did that jerk do to you?
I wish I had a string you could pull to make me say.
Oh, okay, so you want to at least talk. Well, that would be nifty, I guess. As long as you don't go all Teddy Ruxpin on us.
And no one would know the mess I made of my life.
Oh, for the love of... Who the fuck is this for? Nobody's gonna buy a stupid, weepy teddy bear who's totally not gonna tell you all about her broken heart and shit.
You want to be a teddy bear? You want to be a plush thing stuffed with sawdust and stitched up and shit? Well, you know what? Teddy bears may not feel heartbreak, but you know what they do feel? Pain!
With you. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Jerry Lee Lewis was a pioneer of rock and roll. He had quite a way of going crazy with his piano.
He married his 13-year-old cousin.
Yeah, that actually happened. And when word got out, everyone called him a sick fuck. He stopped selling out shows and radio stations refused to play his music. Then a decade later, when he started doing country music, people decided to give him another chance.
And now here in 1973, he is rising up the charts. And thank God this song is terrible, because that means we can laugh at him for being an incest pedo freak.
Drinking wine, Spolio, drinking wine. Wine, Spolio, drinking wine.
Okay, first off, what the fuck is this? Drinking wine spodioti? Spodioti? What kind of crap is that? Let's compare to... See? That's a saying. It's got nice alliteration, nice assonance, and a nice little touch of and meanwhile,
Wine, Spolio, drinking wine. Pass that bottle to me.
Well, he certainly sounds like a drunken wino.
Well, I was down in New Orleans, everything's fine.
so he's in New Orleans, and everyone's drinking wine and having fun, and he's doing the same. I don't even like wine, but even if this was about beer, I don't know. Something's lost with this.
Let's see if he does anything with that piano of his.
Well, it's not as impressive. Also, I realize this video is from years later, but Jerry just looks really uninterested in this. And that's the vibe I get listening to the original song from '73. The guy who calls himself the Killer is not really killing it. He's just going through the motions.
Like, he just wants to collect his paycheck, which he will probably blow on wine.
Wow, that really does sound like a whine. He's whining for wine.
Get it? He's whining for wine. Ah, whatever. Go fuck your cousin, you incest haver. What's made Italia famous has made an even bigger loser out of you.
Think about it.
was on his way home from Candletop.
When you think of bad 70s music, one thing that immediately comes to mind is the story song. That's when people would make up these stories to tell in music form. More often than not, this ends up being the musical equivalent of a B-movie, the kind you'd see Mike and the Bots riff on.
That's a night that the lights went out in Georgia.
So, for example, this is The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, the one and only hit from Vicki Lawrence of The Carol Burnett Show. It's a way too cheery sounding song where a brother gets framed for killing someone who fucked his wife, and then he gets executed, and then she reveals that she killed the guy and his cheating wife. Yeah, it's a fucked up song, and is usually considered one of the worst ever made.
But I found something worse. You've heard of The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. Now get ready for Avenging Annie. Ooh, let's see what stupid bullshit we got here.
We ran through the hills and forests as two under a spell.
Okay, so we got the story of a girl who fell for an outlaw. But this isn't some good girl meets bad boy story, no. Avenging Annie is a bad girl too. Yes, Avenging Annie is an avenger of womanhood. She turns tricks and gets hers, but it's all in the name of feminism. Man, the early 70s must have really hated the hippies.
Yeah, we get it. The 60s are over and we lost. Now, can we get with the dumb story?
Well, she met the bad boy, and I guess his rebellious good looks must have turned her into a softie, because she went right with him to California, where he would abuse her. So this turns into a story about surviving an abusive relationship.
Okay, so how does Avenging Annie get out of this one?
And now I live out on the mountaintop, and I'm almost 35. And I found my peace and I found my...
Well, she simply left him and moved to the mountains. Good for her.
And I might go back to my Floyd if I think it's a thing to do.
Wait, hold up. This is your idea of avenging your womanhood? Leave him, but then maybe come back to him? Maybe come back?
Also, I haven't even mentioned the wrongest thing about this. The whole thing is sung by a dude. A dude.
He treated me worse than I ever imagined. He even said he don't want me around.
And he does this fucking horrible falsetto to play the part of Annie. Couldn't you at least get a female singer? 70s had a lot of female singers. You're telling me not one of them were lining up to be Avenging Annie? Was this just the part that no one was born to play?
Fuck that. I got a better story. Once upon a time, there was a doofy little dumbass who did a shitty story song and it somehow made the charts and it never happened again. The end. Let's close this dumb storybook.
Get on down. Man. Don't do it on the good foot.
Can you tell these guys were trying to be James Brown? Right down to the lyrics about getting on the good foot. Sounds okay for a store brand version, but that's really all it is.
With a child's heart.
Too easy.
I'll give you a daisy a day, dear.
Okay, but what if she's allergic to daisies? Been known to happen. Then what? You're gonna start giving her a tulip a day? Also, isn't it overkill to be doing this every day?
He's a working class hero. He's a man, he's America.
You know, I expected a cover of that John Lennon song, but instead I'm getting a bunch of crap about how working class people are indeed the heroes of America. Well, speaking as someone who is considered an essential worker, you really expect me to swallow this bullshit when we're not respected enough to get some goddamn tests?
They're gonna move on up one by one.
I debated putting this on the list because of its ridiculous attempt to rewrite the Ants Are Marching into a political song, but eventually decided against it because I'm really in no position to be judging the amount of black anyone is, and if it's enough.
As you can clearly see, my skin is not black, it's teal.
I'm a black enough for you.
It should be noted, though, that Billy Paul himself really did not want this to be released as the follow-up to Me and Mrs. Jones. He knew it was a bad idea, but the record label did it anyway. You can pretty much see how well that went over. Shit like this is why I describe the 70s as fucked up. You know that dueling banjo song from Deliverance? Well, this is dueling banjos, but it's actually tubas.
And it's funny because tubas sound like farts. It's a fart joke. We put a fucking fart joke on the charts that week.
Sheriff, now that the president has called you into the case, what will you be doing? Chasing women and drinking.
Here's another reason the 70s were fucked up. This is a radio skit about Superfly and Shaft teaming up, and they make a news interview almost entirely out of snippets of existing songs. This kind of thing belongs on the unfunny local wacky morning zoo. But no, this was sold in stores.
People bought this with money that they put on the counter in person. They look the cashier in the eye as they're buying it. Shame! Shame! Well, anyway, let's see what kind of stupid crap I got at number 1. Let me start off by saying I have a lot of respect for this guy. In general, I recognize him as one of the most talented songwriters and musicians who ever lived, and there's a handful of his songs that I might even consider excellent tier. He certainly has earned his place in history. With all that said, Paul McCartney sure has made a lot of crap.
And when I go away, I know my heart can stay with my love.
Oh boy, here we go. I'm gonna be bashing on one of the Beatles.
Yeah, you think I'm an edgelord now. Just wait till you see my video essay on how Shakespeare was a hack and Hamlet was nothing but a bunch of badly written emo poetry.
It's understood.
Look, I like Paul. He's done a lot of really great work, but he's my least favorite Beatle because he made the most crap.
Especially in the 80s.
Tell me the rest.
Utter shit. And this in particular is a load of it. You'd think the guy who made a song about silly love songs would be better at it.
But this is actually a silly love song without the silly. So what's wrong with that?
It's in the hands of my love.
Well, I'll tell you, without the silly, it's just bland. No flavor, no vitamins, you don't get anything but MSG. I mean, just look at the lyrics. Fucking look at them. I do it all for my love because my love does it good? What kind of crap is that?
And it's just the same thing over and over and over again.
Don't ever ask me why. I never say goodbye to my love.
Oh, gee, why would you never say goodbye to your love?
I guess because your love is so good at never saying goodbye?
My love does it good.
Oh, of fucking course it is. And you gotta throw the woes in there, you know, to at least give the impression that it has something resembling flavor. You know, people say that Everything I Do is probably the worst adult contemporary love song ever made. Honestly, I think this has it beat, because it's even more of a pile of nothing.
Likewise, people like to say that Ringo is the worthless Beatle. But Paul made this. I rest my case.